Let's move on to the Sunday Nighter. We will have our live stream on the Sunday Nighter. Last night, we had our record broken for the longest odds on a winner. Our guy Clint McLean started the Die Hard MMA podcast, hit a 30-1 for the next score to be a defensive touchdown for the Steelers, and TJ Watt delivered it immediately. 30-1 score, which trumped the 19-1 the week before of the Big Ragoos 19-1. That was Jets money line and the over 36.5 in Jets Bills 19-1. So we've had some bombs. I'm 8-2 right now in live bets in NFL to start the year. So we're having a lot of fun on these streams, and we'll be live for Steelers Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, the home opener for the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go over to the line history here for our Sunday Nighter. Just 2 games after this left on the board, both on Monday. This opened up with Pittsburgh -1, and Pittsburgh is now +2.5. We've had Vegas go from dog to favorite, all from since 9:23 a.m. this morning when this line came out at Pinnacle. That's a big move. To give it another look, let's see what it is on the money line, and maybe that'll give us a better sense of this move. Here we go. Moving to the money line. Let's get this up and at 'em, and here it is. So from it's just taking a second here. Okay, here we go. From the money line perspective, we have Pinnacle hanging Las Vegas at -139, and they open at -104. So that's a big move. That's a 35-cent move to the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's take a look at the total here in this one. We are sitting at a 43. A lot of talk about prime time unders. This opened up at 44 and has dropped 1 point to 43. Here we go. Oh, let's take a look at the cash flow before we do that. For this one, we have on the money line, 42% of the tickets and 15% of the cash on the Raiders. That's surprising. Now, there's only 6,318 tickets in, but that's a surprise that the market will be moving that fast towards the Raiders when the bigger bets have come in on the Steelers. 61% of the tickets are on the under. We don't know cash flow yet. 45% of tickets, 49% of cash on the spread on the Raiders. So this is pretty interesting. Birdie says Steelers have faced 2 of the top 3 defenses. They get a defense that is not top 3. Game will slow down here. Analytics off the last 2 Pittsburgh games is driving this line movement. Pittsburgh for me, and they root them. Spenny Penny Bomb says Raiders 8-2 against spread last 10 versus the Steelers. Harold Williams says leaning towards the Raiders, and Al Cervix says Pickett looks weak. Spenny Penny Bomb says he should have got the Raiders at -1.5. Steelers coming off that ugly 26-22 home victory over the Browns thanks to 2 defensive touchdowns. They've now beaten the Browns 20 straight times at home. Steelers become the second team since 1991 to win a game. This is wild. Second team since 1991 to win a game. They were trailing in the fourth quarter despite having negative yardage in the quarter. We're just 2 games into the season, but Kenny Pickett has struggled mightily in both. He finished 15-30 for 222 yards, touchdown, a pick. Steelers only had 9 first downs in the entire game, and they didn't run 1 play in the red zone. Wild. George Pickens was excellent. He got 4 passes for 127 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Warren added 66 yards on 4 catches while rushing 6 times for 20 yards. Najee Harris did very little on the ground, finished with 10 carries for 43 yards. As a team, the Steelers ran 21 times for just 55 yards. But the defense of the Steelers looked very strong. Highsmith returned a pick, 30 yards for a score. He created the game-winning touchdown when he forced Deshaun Watson to fumble in the fourth quarter. That was scooped by TJ Watt. Steelers finished with 6 sacks and 11 quarterback hits. Gunnar Olszewski went into concussion protocol. The kick returner in the first half did not return. Minkah Fitzpatrick left in the third quarter with a chest injury. That sent him to the hospital. So he was there for precautionary scans. It's just a chest contusion. The scans were negative, and there's optimism that Fitzpatrick will be fine moving forward. Inside linebacker Landon Roberts left the game in the third quarter with a neck injury. So if Roberts is not around, then Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander will be the inside linebackers, and Mark Robinson will be available off the bench. They're already without defensive tackle Cam Hayward, who was placed on injured reserve due to a groin injury. Raiders coming off an ugly 38-10 loss at Buffalo, completely dominating the loss, outgained 450 to 240. Jimmy G was 16 of 24 for 185 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Last year's NFL rushing leader, Josh Jacobs, was held to minus 2 yards on 9 carries. He did catch 5 passes for 51 yards. Devontae Adams caught 6 for 84. Jacoby Myers remains in concussion protocol, so he did not play after he led the team in week 1 with 9 catches, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that win in Denver. There's been no update on his status. The Raiders only had the ball for 19 minutes and 56 seconds of the game. They couldn't get stops. They couldn't get the Bills off the field. 9 total drives by the Bills, 7 in the red zone, 5 of them in the end zone. Max Crosby held to no sacks, no quarterback hits. As a team, the Raiders only had 2 of each and just 4 tackles for a loss. And who knows what the hell's going on with Chandler Jones, but don't expect him to be in the Raiders uniform anytime soon. Take it away for us here, Troy, our Sunday nighter, Steelers Raiders.
You covered a lot of what I wanted to cover. I mean, the Steelers offense right now, PFF got them at 32nd, and that's not really a surprise, figuring that they played the 49ers and the Browns in weeks 1 and 2. Pickett has been lucky enough to make some big plays, like they won the 70-yard pass he did to, him and Pickett connected on, and he's struggling mightily, but I don't think he's all that much to blame when you look at how terrible this offensive line is. Pass block rated 32nd, run block rated 30th. Their wide receivers are ranked 29th, which came as a little bit of a surprise to me. But Najee Smith is not him. He's not an RB1 by any means. Jaylen Warren, the word is still out. We got to see more of him. I mean, I want to see the Steelers offense play against somebody that's not one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL at this point. So it's really hard to make an assessment on that offense at this point. So the word is out on that. But on the defensive side of things, they can't stop the run, allowing the most yards per carry in the league. And that's definitely a concern. But the Raiders, can they run the ball? Does Josh Jacobs even want to run the ball for the Raiders anymore? They're 30th at the running back position. But this offensive line, I talked about them in weeks 1 and 2. This is just a cohesive unit. They just continue to get the job done. Right now, they're ranked as the number 1 offensive line in the pass blocking. As it relates to pass blocking. But yeah, I just don't see this team being able to run the ball. Josh Jacobs looks uninspired. Another tough game. And after hearing this breakdown, I was kind of leaning the Raiders, but now I'm kind of backing off my position a little bit because I want to see what the Steelers can do on the offensive side of things, not going up against somebody named the Chargers. Excuse me. If they go against the Chargers, their offense is going to look great. Someone not named the Browns, the Eagles, the top defenses, the Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, not the best defense in the league. We got to see what this offense can do. So I'm going to stay off this spot.
Why don't we bet the under immediately? What? I mean, the Steelers have shown us nothing offensively. And have the Raiders, is Jimmy G going to put up points? I mean, this just seems like, I mean, that 26-22 score was ludicrous. Now, I bet the under live immediately after that first touchdown by Highsmith, under 46.5. That was a loser. I bet it again at 44.5. Of course, that was a loser with the 70-yard forward run and then the pick, then the scoop and score by TJ. But I also had the under 50.5. I had the under 51.5 and the Steelers live. So, still went 3-2 in the game and made money. Why don't we bet the under immediately?
I think I would be betting the under, but I want to see more of this market develop on the under. Let me take a peek at some of those metrics again. See what.
Please do. Ron Crawford says Raiders in the 13-2 spreadsheet spot. There's a guy with Claim James in the house. And then we have Skydragon says, did you guys watch Pickett? He stinks. Jimmy G isn't any good either. Under. So, the market moved towards the Raiders. I'll sit back and respect. I mean, I don't need a dog on the side. I just want the under. Do you anything?
The side. I mean, for this market move. I mean, this would, based on what the database has to say, this line movement suggests that the Raiders is the right play. And we talked about a similar spot like this, a dog becoming a favorite in the Vikings-Chargers game, and that kind of had me on the Chargers. And that's kind of why I was leaning towards the Raiders. But after talking this out, the unknowns with the Steelers on offense, I think the under is moving up my radar. And, I like the primetime unders. A lot of good metrics as it relates to that. So let's move on the under. I'm with you, Jimmy.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it tonight.
You can put me down for a Raiders-Steelers under.
All right. And then when you tweet it out with the line, that will then make it official.
Gotcha.
Troy going to join me on the under. All right. Let's move on.